Hey guys, this is Running Form Friday 2.0 from Newton Running for November the 16th, 2012. Thanks so much for joining in. Today we're going to take a look at Brittany A. Thanks so much to Brittany for sending in this video. This is actually a kind of training montage video that she put together. But fortunately it does show all the appropriate angles that we're going to want to see: the front, the back, and the sides. So now we're going to get right into chatting about Brittany. So the first thing we want to take a look at with Brittany is her posture. Now, her posture is reasonable, but what we're finding is that she's kind of bent at the waist a little bit. Jennifer?
So if Brittany could lean a little bit more from her ankles rather than her waist, this will help her foot land a little bit more under her instead of her reaching out in front of her.
Yeah, she really wants to just kind of focus on being a really balanced person, just really staying kind of balanced. And that natural lean, as you begin to move forward, kind of, it just happens because you're balancing over the point of contact, which in this case is the foot when you run, right?
So Brittany, if you can imagine a cable pulling you tall from the top of your head, that will help you engage your core a little bit more. And then march in place, lifting your foot off of the ground, and then lean forward, remembering that cable. And now you have another cable pulling you from your chest at a 45-degree angle, which will help you stay tall but lean forward.
So just kind of to touch a little bit more on position, when we talk about our three things that we want to focus on: posture, position, cadence. We've already touched on the posture, and we began to get into position a little bit. And position is kind of like you want to get like you're a big spring, like you're really ready to field a ball. And Jennifer's going to talk about for a second what we've noticed with Brittany's position.
So if Brittany could imagine getting into more of an athletic position where her knees are soft, her hips are soft, her ankles are soft, she's just this big shock absorber, then she can react a little bit quicker. Where if you watch Brittany run, she's very stiff. She has a really great cadence. Her cadence is awesome, so we don't really have to address that. She's definitely hitting 180 steps per minute. But if we could get her acting a little bit more spring-like, she'll get more energy return, and then she'll be much more efficient.
Yeah, and another thing is that, as we talked about earlier with the posture where she's kind of tipped from the hips, from the waist there, kind of leaning from the waist, it's preventing her from really getting the full amount of that kind of, that's really soft legs, soft hips, and that spring action of the body that we're really looking for most of the time. So we're going to talk about now some things that she can do to address these things. The first thing we want to look at is her mobility. Now, as Jennifer mentioned a second ago, that she seems to be very stiff. Now, that could be a byproduct of kind of a gluteal weakness or lack of mobility in the gluteus medius, gluteus maximus. So Jennifer's going to talk about a couple stretches that you can do to really begin to address that.
So I think for Brittany, really strengthening her glutes will help. Lunges are a great exercise for that. Also, softening the ankle. It doesn't look like she's got a lot of dorsiflexion where her toe can kind of move up and down. So stretching out the calves, working on some hip flexibility will help her lift a little bit more. Maybe her back is a little bit tight because as you lean forward from the hips, that puts a lot of strain on the back.
So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is a nice lunge stretch. In this stretch, what you want to focus on is really extending the hip flexor on either leg. Take about 5 minutes per side, and it's a nice balanced stretch where you can just kind of hang there, text on your phone, watch TV, what have you. It's a really easy stretch. This next thing we're going to take a look at is lunges. First, when you're first starting out, you want to do stationary lunges, and you want to do those until your body fails. In other words, you do as many as you can per leg, or your number of years in the number of lunges per years that you are old. In other words, if you're 30 years old, you want to do 30 per leg, or again, until failure. The same goes with walking lunges. Here, we're watching forward walking lunges, making sure those hips are really nice and square and that the knee of the leading leg does not extend beyond the toes of that leg. As you go backward, it's a little more challenging, but it allows you to engage a lot of proprioception, really feeling the ground behind you and making sure that that back foot is not waving all over the place. Take your time, and again, go as many lunges as your age in years per leg or until failure.
Okay, and to sum up, Brittany needs to work on her glute strength, staying relaxed and balanced, and flexibility in her hips and ankles.
Now, if you'd like to have one of your videos looked at, please feel free to send your videos with the angles from the front, from the back, and from both sides, and make sure we get your whole body in that shot so that we're seeing it in a nice even plane. You can send those videos either by sending a YouTube link or the video itself to rff@newtonrunning.com. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you next week.